Hey! What up? It's your boy, Dylan! Jesus Christ, I think I just broke the bed. Oh, what just happened? And today we're back with another video. So, Invisible Man. It's a book. A very long book. That no one actually read! Except for me. I read it. And I can tell you about Allusions. Oh baby, go on, keep this spreading. Oh shoot, that's the wrong type. Oh baby, go on, keep this spreading. You see, Allusions are... Wait, what are they again? Oh yeah, that's what it is. Allusions are just references to something without specifically mentioning it. Allusions are used in Invisible Man to provide further meaning to the plot or to thematic devices. The majority of allusions in Invisible Man are either to the Bible, older works of literature, or historical events. So we'll start with the Bible. The first biblical allusion comes when Reverend Barbie talks about the founder. He alludes to the founder's journey being like that of Moses, saying, "For it was he who led them to the path, guiding them like a great captain, like that great pilot of ancient times who led his people safe and unharmed across the bottom of the blood-red sea." He also later compares Bledsoe to the founder, therefore comparing Bledsoe to Moses in the process. The purpose of these allusions is to show just how highly Barbie is extolling Dr. Bledsoe and the founder. The next biblical allusion comes when I.M. is on the bus ride away from the college into Harlem. He says, "I saw a moccasin wiggle swiftly along the gray concrete, vanishing into a length of iron pipe that lay beside the road." The college was understood to be a representation of Eden, which means the moccasin is an allusion to Satan. The purpose of it is to show that I.M.'s innocence is gone, and now Satan will be able to have his way in I.M.'s life. Shortly after, there is an allusion to the biblical story of Jonah and the whale. He says, "The train seemed to plunge downhill now, only to lunge to a stop that shot me out upon a platform, feeling like something regurgitated from the belly of a frantic whale." The purpose of this allusion is to show that I.M. had a change just like Jonah after he was expulsed from the whale, or in his case, the subway car. The purpose of this allusion is to show, just as Jonah went from being apprehensive to following God's will to being ready to, I.M. went from being apprehensive to leaving the college to being ready to face the challenges in New York. One last allusion is that, too, of Jesus' resurrection. Referring to Todd Clifton, I.M. says, "Do you expect to see some magic? The dead rise up and walk again? Go home, he's as dead as he'll ever die. That's the end and the beginning, and there's no encore. There'll be no miracles, and there's no one here to preach a sermon." The purpose of this allusion is to reinforce Todd Clifton as a Christ figure by comparing him to Christ, since he died for his cause. The biblical allusions best develop the theme that it is impossible to be perfect, so any attempt to do something perfectly is in vain. And now on to older works of literature. Seriously, what is wrong with this bed? The first allusion to an older work of literature is to The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. This is when Mr. Emerson Jr. is talking to Invisible Man. Emerson says to Invisible Man, "I was trying to tell you that I know many things about you, not you personally, but fellows like you. With us, it's still Jim and Huck Finn." While Ellison specifically mentions Jim and Huck Finn, he is alluding to the contents of the story. The purpose of the allusion is to show that not much has changed since the times of slavery, and that the people in the North are still helping runaway slaves from the South. They are not literally runaway slaves, but they are escaping their confinement in the South, set up by Jim Crow laws. Mr. Emerson is implying that I.M. is Jim and he is Huck Finn. The next allusion is to that of the Odyssey. This happens when it is found out that Brother Jack only has one eye, and it is alluding to the fact that he is like the Cyclops from the Odyssey. This is because, just like the Cyclops imprisons Odysseus, Brother Jack imprisons I.M.'s freedom and freedom of speech. And just like Odysseus knows that the Cyclops is the only way to free him and his people, I.M. knows that Brother Jack is the only way to free him and his people. I.M. is put in these situations because he has not yet found his identity. The theme that allusions to older works of literature best develop is that if I.M. lets other people define his identity for him, then he really has no identity at all. And now on to historical events. The first illusion is when Reverend Barbie says that the founder is like a black Aristotle or a prophet. When talking about him being a prophet, he says, "We had toured this through several states to which he was carrying the message. The people had come to hear the prophet." The purpose of the allusion of the founder to a black Aristotle is to show that the founder was extremely wise. The allusion to the prophet could mean either one of two things. It could be Reverend Barbie comparing the founder to Jesus, since Jesus was considered a prophet, and because Barbie extols the founder throughout the entirety of his speech, and this could be another way of extolling him. Or Reverend Barbie could be alluding to the Greek skin and referring to the founder as one of the ancient Greek prophets. Either way, the allusion shows that Barbie believed that the founder could see into the future and believed that the founder was an almost godlike figure. The next illusion happens when Iam is talking about how he felt when he discovered it was he himself to blame for being invisible the whole time. He says, "But deep down you come to suspect that you're yourself to blame, and you stand naked and shivering before the millions of eyes who look through you unseeingly. That is the real soul sickness, the spear in the side, the drag by the neck through the mob-angry town, the grand inquisition, the embrace of the maiden, the rip in the belly with the gut spilling out, the trip to the chamber with the deadly gas that ends in the oven so hygienically clean. Only it's worse because you continue to stupidly live." The allusions are to the Holocaust, the Grand Inquisition, and other acts of violence throughout human past. The purpose of these allusions is to show the pain that Iam went through when he realized that it was his fault for him being invisible and not everyone else's. He felt this pain because he spent so long trying to call others to action when really he just needed to call himself. The themes that historical allusions develop are both the themes that allusions to older works of literature and allusions to the Bible develop. And that is all.
Ooh, baby, go, keep it spreading.